to your mother. It's time for another episode of Birds with Friends. Just some high-flying wren, fast vertical stems, and professors from Penn watching eagles eating prey like Pazookies on birthdays. It's Philadelphia, Marissa, Bo, and Zach kicking it. Cooler than 3 penguins till Zach runs off with his valet keys. He's a real nuanced goose. Pull up a branch, get loose. It's time for some juice on some
Birds with Friends.
The early bird gets the worm, but prefers getting turned like a turn on some
Birds with Friends.
Marissa, Bo, and Zach are here to squawk. Don't miss the mistress talk on some
Zach, for the 4th time in franchise history, the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl.
Eagles Chiefs are ripe with storylines. 2 best teams in the
Prince
NFL
Tega
playing.
Winogo revenge game.
There's so many factors in place for Bo to make the media enemy. Yeah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the final episode of Superb Owl Week ahead of Super Owl Sunday. Bo Wulf, Zach Berman, Marissa Dunn, and Michael Dunn here to put the finishing touches on the preview week for the big game on Sunday. We will have the professor himself, Deniz, joining us in the second segment for the conclusion of Swooper Soarcasting. We will have our crystal ball Eagle predictions. Maybe we'll throw in some Al knows. But we start with some talk about the big fellas up front, the official offensive line expert of Birds with Friends, Michael Dunn. Michael, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Second time. Love it.
There's
So popular the first time. People wanted you back.
Yeah, run it back. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, anybody can come on Birds with Friends once.
Yeah, can you do it
Repeat
again?
Invite
Yeah.
is a real upper echelon of friend of the pod. Zach, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm excited for the pod here. It's
A little behind the scenes. We are pre-recording this. This is a Thursday night record. We're gonna do our crystal ball Eagle predictions live tomorrow, but this part is pre-recorded. That's why you have a dark window.
Yes, but as I was on the elevator coming up, it occurred to me that what I was wearing was the same thing that I wore on today's podcast, today being Thursday. And so I didn't want to wear the same thing. So I threw on a sweatshirt when I got into the room to make sure that I don't have 2 days in a row wearing the same outfit.
Marissa, that's why he was late.
Emily would appreciate that. Oh, Bo was ready to throw that one in. It was 8:31. We were supposed to be on here at 8:30, and Bo was like, "I just got to point out Zach's late."
And it's not the first time.
I told Bo I had to call my wife because I figured this podcast was going to be. I figured this was going to be like a 90-minute podcast, and it's already 9:00 at home. So, right. So that's what I was doing. But I logged on. I actually, we had a sunset behind me when I logged on. I was trying to position the camera appropriately. But no, I'm excited for this pod. This week has gone by so quickly. I can't tell you, like, if I haven't had a good meal yet or a real meal yet. I was talking to, it was about to sound like a flex. I was talking to a coach today who said, "Where are you eating tonight?" And I said, "Eating tonight?" I said, "I'm working tonight, man." He said, "You got more work to do?" I said, "I got so much more work to do." Yeah. I said Friday and Saturday is when hopefully I get a good meal. So
yeah. Well, you guys are crushing it out there. So
thank you.
Very appreciated by all the listeners and all the readers. So keep doing what you're doing.
By the time this podcast,
gas you guys up a little bit because I haven't talked to you in a few days. So
that's a sore subject. That's a sore subject. By the time
that's why we started recording late because we were just complaining about that for about 15 minutes.
Catching up. By the time this appears, there'll be a story up about situational football meetings. There's a story coming out. Do I say tomorrow? It feels so odd because
just skip the date. Saturday.
There's a story coming out. Thank you, Marissa. That's why you're the best producer we can imagine. There's a story coming out Saturday on Jeffrey Lurie and how he's hired both the coaches in this game, both of whom did not receive an interview elsewhere before getting the job. So it's about the coach hiring process there. So a lot of good content. I was going to
go back to an old bit for a Wolf's Den and ask Devontae Smith. Everybody's talking about the Kelsey brothers playing in this game, but how come they're not talking about Devontae and Trey Smith in the same game? How come? Hey, AJ, how come no one's talking about AJ Brown and Orlando Brown? You guys are in the game too. Devontae Smith had a migraine, didn't show up for media, and AJ Brown didn't really play ball, so that's not going to be appearing anywhere.
So Michael, I have a question for you here. Put us in the minds of a football of an NFL player in this situation. To take our listeners here, you have a big ballroom or auditorium, or I would say ballroom with all these tables set up, and there are 2 players at every table, right? Every player needs to be there for 45 minutes. But a lot of the media is going to obviously certain players. So invariably there's, reserve players who are just sitting there. And I was talking about this with Bo and Sheil. In a typical locker room setting during the week, like I make sure I say hi to every guy on the team, right? And then if you're passing the locker of someone, you'll say hello, small talk for 30 seconds and move on. Here, it's confined amount of time. Everyone is there. Like you don't have a minute to waste, but you feel bad passing by this guy. Like, do they want to talk? Would they just rather sit on their phones? If you're a player who is not going to be like a featured story, no one's doing a big story this week about pick the random backup offensive lineman.
How dare you?
I mean, I think if someone did come up to me, I'd be wondering if they went to the wrong person. I mean, maybe I'll like point them over to where Jason Kelsey would be or something. But no, I mean, obviously, I hope maybe one day I'll get in that situation where I could.
I'm sorry.
I could
like a backhanded
wonder what I want. Yeah,
No.
But
Yes,
but no, I don't think that. I don't think those guys care too much. I think they're kind of
I felt
happy
bad
to be there. And
Yeah.
I mean, I will say, it's always kind of nice in the locker room, getting a hello from one of the media members as they walk by. It's always nice to hear. Especially
what if the person says hello to you every single day and like says hello, Michael, every time he walks by you? Would you be like, this guy's a little weird?
I think you'd love that.
Yeah, no, I mean,
what if that was all he ever did?
Like that's
there
the
was
only
never-
thing with the
There was
conversation
never
note.
there was never a
further
second
than,
note
like,
of the
a
conversation.
hello.
It was just hello, Michael.
Like if I really want to talk to him and I respond and he just walks off, he's like gone too far with this.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll feel a type of way there, but yeah, no, I always appreciate the media members.
Hello, Yalda.
Hello. Yeah, yeah, no, I mean that. Yeah, I don't know if I'll talk to them again if they just really do think I'm someone else, but I might actually be offended then. But if they confuse me with this long blonde-haired Danish man, then could be. But
do your homework.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Zach always does that, so you never have to worry about that.
All right.
Let's get to the show.
Let's get into the nitty-gritty. Football games are decided in the trenches. And that's why we have the trench expert himself, Michael Dunn, to break down what I believe you have deemed the 5 most competitive matchups on this game on either side of the ball. Is that fair to say?
I honestly
just want to talk
really
about the
know
matchups.
where I was I kind of just wrote down 5 matchups. We could go competitive, important. I mean, they're all important.
Okay.
I like competitive. That's a good title for it.
Where would you like to start?
So I did want to start with what I think is actually the best matchup in the trenches for the Super Bowl.
Okay.
And that is going to be Joe Thuney versus Javon Hargrave.
Ooh.
I think both those guys are just super underrated players for their positions.
I would like to give one small piece of color. Deniz is here waiting and watching. He's an audience of one right now in the recording. And as you said, Joe Thuney and Javon Hargrave, he just started nodding his head like just a true sicko.
How do you see him?
Well,
Yeah.
I don't have access.
He's got the back access. Yeah,
Gotcha.
I'll give you that.
Oh,
Zach.
this is
That's
not
it.
for everybody to see.
Zach can't see everything because he
The
doesn't.
true behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I'm
right,
actually
so-
the real guest on the show right now. So.
So
I'll
Joe
change that, Zach.
Joe Thuney was, I believe, number 1 in like pass rush win rate. Now, Deniz maybe will come on and tell us that we shouldn't be following that so much, but a very good player against a very good player, and Javon Hargrave. What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't tell you the pass rate.
Yeah, don't worry about it. You know what? I said it, and I regretted it immediately.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure it's a good statistic, but
sometimes.
But no, in my opinion, you see all these storylines coming out, and I feel like nobody actually talks about either of these two players. And when you think, like, at the end of the day, these are two players that are exceptional at their position. Javon Hargrave, I talked about it last time I came on. I think he's a super underrated interior pass rusher. I think he's elite. You saw what he did against San Francisco too. He had a big sack. He was getting pressures all day. And you have Joe Thuney, who I'm not sure if he was all pro this year, but he could be, second team all pro after Joel Bitonio every single year. But
good plug.
Yeah, I had to throw that in.
You're a hell of a friend. I respect that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah,
I mean, second team behind you if Joel went down.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yes, but second team no matter what. But Thuney, he is a incredible technician, great hands player, and he just uses his leverage perfectly. He does a great job anchoring on players. He did get kind of pushed back against BJ Hill a couple times.
Okay.
In the Bengals game, but overall, great anchor. Javon Hargrave, great pass rusher. I think that's going to be an incredible battle to watch. And I don't think people are really giving it the respect that it deserves right now.
Now, beforehand, we were talking a little bit about Linval Joseph and how you made such a good call about how he was so good on those outside zones. And we were talking with Deniz, and he made the point that Linval, or you made the point that Linval may not play much this game, and I think that's true. I do not think we're going to see a lot of base. I think we're going to see more even man fronts against this Chiefs offense, even when they have this like super special 13 personnel on the field. Then the Eagles will have Linval Joseph on the field in those odd man fronts. But I think we're going to be seeing a lot of Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargrave and Milton Williams in the middle of the field in this game.
Yeah, and kind of the point that you just touched on. Aside from that, 13 personnel package, the Chiefs are not going to be in that too often. They're going to want Mahomes back there in shotgun and just throw the ball around, hand off inside zone to Pacheco every now and then, who I absolutely love. I think he's an incredible running back. He runs so hard. It's really impressive to see. Oh,
Vineland in Jersey. Yeah.
By the way, I'm sorry. I watched the tape on myself last time, and I can't believe I just did it right now.
What'd you do?
What'd you do?
I just said impressive. And I literally have pulled up here. I looked up synonyms for impressive. And I told myself that I'm not going to use that word this week. And the very first time I'm describing a player, I used that word. It
didn't even occur to me.
Should have just said majestic. But,
I actually think that'd be a little weird if you describe Pacheco as majestic.
I'd go with splendid, spectacular, or grand either. But
don't use them all now.
Oh, don't worry. There's a lot. There's a lot in here.
Walt Whitman High School is gonna be proud.
Yeah, I'm sure they will be.
All right.
Me and the track athlete from Syracuse.
Yeah.
Thuney and Hargrave. Go ahead, Zach.
Mm-hmm.
Are we moving on to the next question, or do we still have?
Well, I will just touch on Linval Joseph. Yeah. He is a fantastic run stopper. He could get some good push in the pass rush, but he's not a pass rush specialist, and that's where I think you're going to see a lot more Fletcher Cox, Milton Williams, and Javon Hargrave, like you said.
There you go. The other side of the ball, the Eagles are speaking with such reverence, or I should find a better word there, respect for Chris Jones. What are you shaking your head for, Bo?
He's going to get there. He's got 5 matchups he's going to go through.
Exactly. I thought I was prompted. I was giving him the prompt.
Okay. All right.
Isn't that what we're supposed to do? Yeah.
That is his number 2.
Yeah, it's a great leader.
Exactly. Both shaking his head. Marissa was a great producer. Oftentimes when you have a guest, you get prompts. Okay. Ask them this. And so then you lead into the question and they know what's coming. And then they have an answer set for you. This is like TV 101. Marissa did a great job. Bo likes to have guests where they're totally unprepared for what's about to come.
Like real life.
Questions. Okay. So I was looking at the next thing on the list and I was giving an intro so then Michael could take it away. I was the point guard passing it to Michael. You're shaking your head saying he's going to get to it. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm getting to it. Okay. Marissa and Michael knew exactly what I was doing there. Okay. Did you not, Marissa? Did you know exactly what I was doing?
I did. I'm not sure if Michael
No, I
did.
got it.
Okay.
I like it.
Yes. So moving on to the next, the Eagles have been speaking with a lot of respect for Chris Jones. For Chris Jones this week. It's a tough matchup, I imagine, for any offensive lineman. How do you see Isaac Seumalo in particular handling that matchup?
And colored with the history they have together, where Isaac Seumalo was benched in 2017 because specifically Chris Jones dominated him all game long.
That's a good tidbit right there. Well, Seumalo is going to get the brunt of it. The thing I keep thinking about with Chris Jones is, something you mentioned last time I was on about JJ Watt, where they would take JJ Watt and basically put him against all 5 guys and see who's basically the weak link. You will see Chris Jones lined up probably over everybody at some point. You saw in the Bengals game, he had that clutch sack against the right tackle. But for the most part, he is going to be over Seumalo. And I'm a big Seumalo fan. I think that he is a really good guard. He's going into free agency, I'm pretty sure, this year, and he will cash in big.
He's my number 2 guard.
Number 2 behind
Michael Dunn.
Yeah, I was hoping you were going to say that. Yeah. Guard center too. So
yeah, exactly.
Position versatile.
Yeah.
And tight end if you need. Yeah. But Seumalo is going to be in for it this game. You kind of see Seumalo and even though I'm a big fan of Seumalo, you kind of see the Eagles O-line as a whole. And there's not really a weak link, but that is going to be the guy that is going to have the toughest matchup. And that's going against physically and going against all-world potential defensive player of the year, Chris Jones. And Chris Jones, you saw him in the Bengals game. He basically single-handedly got the stops needed to in that game. Chris Jones could do it pass rush, in the run game, however you want it. He is one of the strongest dudes out there. He will consistently drive guards right into the quarterback's lap. He has a fast get off the ball, great hands player where, he could catch you with a wiper real fast. He could get you with a hand pick. He basically has it all in the pass rush game. And in the run game, he is a very smart player. One of the cool things I kind of saw in the Bengals game, he had one play where, this is, a vet smart move where he was kind of leaning in his stance and he was kind of like making it look like he was about to slant inside. The backside guard, the guard over him, saw the lean and kind of took a over-exaggerated inside step to try stopping it. Chris Jones then immediately just backtracked, shot up the field, and made a big tackle for a loss. And, that's just, who Chris Jones is. I think that when you look at the Chiefs defensive line as a whole and Chiefs defense as a whole, they're solid. And then you just have Chris Jones, who is just a elite player in this league. So it doesn't matter, Seumalo, whoever that guard is, he could be the best guard in the NFL. He's going to have a tough matchup there. And to help with that, I think one thing, I wouldn't be shocked if the Eagles do it. I think the Eagles have a lot of trust in their guys, but I wouldn't be shocked if they decide to go in a situation where they're just going to slide the protection to Chris Jones. They're basically,
and how does that work?
So basically, Kelsey, if he's uncovered, you point. Basically, I don't know if you ever see where a center or a quarterback, they're going to point at a linebacker. That's usually telling on which way the protection is sliding to. So that's where the center is going to. And in this case, I would not be shocked if the Eagles are just like, you know what, Chris Jones could wreck a game on any single play, and it's a Super Bowl. We want to just handle him, handle that, and they will just take Kelsey and basically try double teaming Chris Jones on every single protection. And I don't know if that's something that the Eagles have done in the past or if they're confident with whoever they have going against Chris Jones, but in the Super Bowl and anything could happen, you might as well. So I think that is a situation that could come into play with Eagles offensive line.
Fran Duffy was making this point this week that the Eagles have done a very good job this year. And, traditionally under Jeff Stoutland, partially because they have such a good offensive line to begin with. But when there is a star defensive lineman that week, the Eagles seem to have generally a very good plan for that player. Like you think back to week 5 or 6, whatever it was, against Micah Parsons, who was, a house of fire in the beginning of the season. They had a very good plan on how to handle him. It has happened in the past with Aaron Donald. They've done a very good job against Aaron Donald. And so if anyone's going to design something that's going to help them schematically, I guess, to stop Chris Jones, I think you could have some faith in the Eagles. But I think this is the most important individual matchup of the game, because I think I don't see another way for the Chiefs defense to consistently stop the Eagles offense aside from Chris Jones wrecking a game.
Yeah. I mean, you like you said, you look at this Chiefs defense and they are a good defense, but when there is one guy who can wreck a game like Jones can, you have to take every measure to prevent that happening. And it helps when the other guard is a Pro Bowl guard and you're kind of saying to Dickerson, hey, you got a tough matchup too. The guy he's going to be going against, Dana, he's a good player. I could talk about him later. It's not my number 2 matchup of the week. So, I won't touch on it now, but it's a situation where you could tell that Dickerson, like, hey, you got your guy. Let's help over here.
Okay. Zach, go ahead. Why don't you toss us into number 3 here?
Well, you didn't follow the order. I mean, you had to put in the Fran Duffy thing there. I thought we were going to go down the list here, so
yeah,
I'll just go to the. Okay.
Go ahead.
Let's return to the Eagles' defensive line. Chris Jones, we talked about as a standout from Mississippi State. Another standout from Mississippi State in this game, Fletcher Cox. Fletcher Cox, who was Chris Jones before Chris Jones even. What was that?
It's a good transition. I'm proud of you.
So you spoke about how the Eagles will have to use different combinations, maybe center guard against Chris Jones. Let's look at that Chiefs interior offensive line with Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith, or Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey, whichever order you want to put it. How will they block Fletcher Cox?
Yeah, so when you kind of discuss the Chiefs offensive line, to me it starts in the interior. We already touched on Joe Thuney and how good of a player I think he is. But the Chiefs have right guard Trey Smith and their center Creed Humphrey are both second-year players, and along with Dickerson are a few of the best young interior offensive linemen of the game. You watch Smith and you kind of love the way he plays. He's this
nasty,
big,
right?
Strong guy. Yeah, he's nasty. Like you could tell, he's always looking for kill shots. He's always looking to just knock someone over. There's one play in the Bengals game where I think he thought his guy was looping, and he immediately went for a kill shot because that just seems like the type of guy he is, just always wanted to get those like knockdowns, which I love. And then the Bengals rusher ended up still working on the field and created some pressure. But yeah, no, he is a guy who I think you're going to be hearing his name as a Pro Bowler, All-Pro type player for years to come. And I think the Chiefs got a good one there. And he is going to have a big matchup against, like you said, Fletcher Cox. This is basically going to be this up-and-coming young, right guard versus this possible Hall of Fame D tackle. I don't know. Maybe possible. I don't know what you guys think.
He was all-decade team, so by virtue of being on the all-decade team, you're viewed as one of the best of your decade. Yeah,
maybe
he's a no for me, but possible. Yeah.
Maybe last game. So you kind of have this very experienced vet who is been a superstar his career, face of the franchise. Might not have the numbers that a bunch of the other guys across the line have, but he is still Fletcher Cox. You give him tons of respect. And, he is going to be a tough matchup for Trey Smith and the center, Creed Humphrey. Creed Humphrey, also young guy. I think he actually was already an all-pro at some point. But you see Humphrey, and he is, this thick, stout center that, really firm in pass pro, gets good movement, good vertical movement on inside rush. He's also a lefty.
I was going to say, can you snap lefty?
So I was just telling Marissa about it last night where, it's always interesting seeing a lefty snapper. I personally, I could try it out. I don't think, I don't, probably would not be too great if, I just try it out for one play in the game, but, maybe.
Surprise, coach.
Yeah. Hey, but I always wonder, like, if it's different for quarterbacks to kind of like get the snap from a lefty. But, I think it's also kind of different for defensive tackles because D tackles usually have different pass rush moves for snap hand or offhand. And, with a lefty, that kind of switches up a little bit. But
both quarterbacks of this game, by the way, will know what it's like getting a snap from a lefty. Because Creed Humphrey was Jalen Hurts' quarterback at Oklahoma.
Oh, Oklahoma.
You could have just said both quarterbacks in this game will know what it's like to get a snap from Creed Humphrey.
Yeah.
I know it was supposed to.
Maybe they talk about it together. Maybe that's what they're
honestly. If Bo uses these lines, he would applaud himself. Okay.
Why would you say what?
It's a good callback.
It's the same player we're talking about.
That's the point.
I was like, is Juergens lefty or something?
So what you do is you say that and you say which left-handed center did Jalen Hurts take snaps from, and then the answer is Creed Humphrey. Then you say, oh, and you say that's called selling the joke in the media world. Instead,
that's it. That's it right there.
Yeah. So
I'm learning so much tonight, Zach.
Michael is also a fan of comedy, so there you go.
Hannibal Buress.
I do enjoy comedy.
Is performing like about 100 feet from us.
Oh, I saw him in college.
Who?
Hannibal Buress.
Oh,
before he was a big landlord. All right. Well, speaking of Creed, which is also the name of a movie. There's another movie named Australia. And speaking of Australia, the Eagles' left tackle Jordan Mailata has an interesting matchup against Frank Clark.
Yeah, so that is matchup number 4 for me. I got. I do want to say I think the Eagles are generally going to try not being in situations of too many just drop back pass pros. That's not really something that they do very often. You never know how the game goes. The Eagles have been fortunate in winning games 31-7, however much these games have been in the playoffs where, they've just been able to run it down their throat. And I think that's going to be what the Eagles try doing. The way you've been seeing these combination blocks from this offensive line has been outstanding. Every playoff game I've seen, they are just moving guys off the ball. I did write in one of my notes that, Miles Sanders, could have been Marissa scoring on that touchdown the way the holes were open.
That was mean. I ran track back in the day.
Just imagine Miles was a real. I would say, just imagine if the Eagles had a real running back, right? What they could be doing right now.
What he's saying is that it doesn't need to be a real running back.
Well, Miles is still a really good running back. Anyways, the thing I love watching Jordan Mailata and Lane Johnson also is how they come down on these 3 techs on their backside B blocks, and any combination really. They are moving guys off the ball, and honestly, I am kind of thinking that that's going to be what happens in this game too. I have not seen a D-line be able to stop it yet, but if we're talking individual one-on-one matchups, Mailata versus Clark is going to be a good one. Clark he's a different type of pass rusher than I think what people are kind of used to. He he is explosive. He's very explosive. But where you might see a guy kind of like, really just fire off the ball and try, getting the edge of an offensive tackle. Clark kind of more so plays kind of like a slowish game where he's going to come out of his stance. And yes, he does have the speed and explosiveness to turn a corner, but he almost kind of like stutters his feet. He does like this Euro step kind of move. And he is so quick and explosive from that stop to go that when a tackle just stops it, he baits the tackle basically to either stop their feet or overset, and he will just either take it inside or, do a quick wipe or, club and just hit the outside. And, it's really impressive. He's been doing it for years, and it's just kind of like a different style of pass rush. And he's a great hands player, and he's able to do it. And that's a situation where, Mailata is this big freak, athleticism wise. I don't think Clark is really going to try testing his, his bull rush on him too often, but, it's how well Mailata does with his feet against him and, stays in the right position.
Would you say this is a better type of matchup for Mailata than a speed rusher?
Well, Clark is still very speedy. Like he still has great speed. He's got, his acceleration is incredible. How he's able to kind of like do this Euro step or stutter kind of step and just take off. Where it's still going to be he's going to have to, take perfect angles on his set. Basically, he doesn't want to be jumping way too far off the ball and then leave a inside lane for this guy. But I think Mailata, I feel like he actually could have a good game against Clark, because Mailata is, very athletic himself. And I think that this actually could be a good spot for him. But it's definitely going to be a good one to watch.
And just because you have the experience of playing in these games, I do need to ask you, is it Frank Clark or Clark Frank?
It's Frank Clark.
Okay,
yes.
Got it.
It's a bad joke, but Frank
have
Clark does have a chance.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's like every episode.
Whoops.
So Frank Clark does have a chance of making history, and I didn't realize this. Did you know that if he has 1.5 sacks, he would set the NFL postseason record for most sacks? He would have the most sacks in the history of the NFL postseason, which I would not have put that together.
Yeah, no.
He's third all time. Bruce Smith is number 1. I think Terrell Suggs is number 2. But Clark has 13.5 maybe, and Bruce Smith is 14.5 thereabouts. And it's because Clark has 2.5 sacks during this postseason. He's pushed himself up there. This is Hassan Reddick's first postseason, but Hassan Reddick has 3.5 sacks this postseason. I bring that up because that's another matchup you're focusing on, is Hassan Reddick versus that wily veteran, Andrew Wiley. What are you expecting out of that matchup?
Wow, what a transition.
Thank you, Marissa. She appreciates it. Thank you, Marissa.
Yeah, that's actually kind of interesting to hear about Frank Clark. I did not know that he was 1.5 sacks away from getting that record. But going back to the Wiley versus Reddick battle, I feel a lot of people aren't really giving Wiley the respect that I think he kind of deserves. Like, I feel like people are not really, I think people are just assuming that Reddick is going to, just be tearing up this right tackle for the Chiefs. But Wiley is a guy who he has played many games for the Chiefs, guard, tackle, wherever they put him. He's done a good job at it. And it's not like he hasn't played anybody. Like, he's a right tackle on an AFC West team. He's going against Joey Bosa every week, 2 times a year. He was going against Von Miller for all those years. He's going against who's the
Max Crosby.
Max Crosby.
Max Crosby. Yeah, Max Crosby. Where obviously Hassan Reddick is having an incredible year, but Wiley's no slouch. He does a good job filling the role that was asked of him by the Chiefs. But he is going to have the toughest job. Just as we discussed with the Chris Jones-Siamalu battle, Reddick is going to be the Eagles' Chris Jones. He is the guy that is going to basically have to make a play. When you're talking about this Super Bowl, two high-powered offenses, the game will probably come down to who makes a bigger splash play on defense. Mm-hmm. And just like how Chris Jones could do it for the Chiefs, I think Reddick could do it for the Eagles. I think Reddick is going to need, whether it's a strip sack, whether it's a QB hit forcing a errant throw for a turnover, or just a big third down rush. Reddick is going to be the guy that has to get this done. There's a lot of, I guess people are saying disrespect that he was not one of the finalists for Defensive Player of the Year. Yeah. But if he turns out a Super Bowl performance and makes one giant play, then that disrespect is no longer going to be there. Everybody's going to know who Hassan Reddick is. He's going to cash in on that, and he will get all the recognition that he definitely deserves. And I kind of had this at 5 just because it is going to be a tough matchup for Wiley, and he's played a Super Bowl before. He's been in a Super Bowl, but it's kind of, a guy who is, fills the job really well versus a guy who is going to have to be relied on to make a big play. And I really think that it's going to come down to that, where if a guy like Reddick does not make this play and the Chiefs are able to let Mahomes just sit back there and throw the ball around, I think it's going to be a tough game for the Eagles defensively. I don't know Mahomes' ankle situation, but a week after getting a high ankle sprain, he might not have been the most mobile guy, but he's still doing Mahomes-like stuff. Where another 2 more weeks of rest, you're not really going to this game and thinking like, okay, Mahomes is just gonna, be sitting in that pocket and not be able to do this stuff that he could do.
Right.
Like, you are going to get normal Mahomes in this game. And if a guy like
scary
Reddick,
for the Eagles,
very scary for the Eagles. And if a guy like Reddick is not able to get pressure, constant pressure even, then I think the Eagles could, be in a bit of a scary situation.
All right. Well, so saith Michael Dunn. What a breakdown. Anything else that is just generally on your radar ahead of this matchup?
Yeah, no, I mean,
wondering how late we're going to be keeping up your pregnant wife on Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah. She'll be okay. But
I'm sorry,
no,
No, I'm ready for it.
Yeah, she's honestly been waiting for it. She wishes that she'd be out there with you guys right now, but
we wish that as well.
Just deal with me over here the entire week.
Well, next year she'll be out here both working and you'll be playing in it, so it'll be a good combination. Yeah,
that'd be awesome
with a baby.
Yeah, bring the baby too. I just want to say, I know I touched on him before, but I think what they do with the Chiefs do with Mike Dana, I think it's really interesting kind of how he's like a defensive end. He's a smaller guy, but for pass rushing on third down, they kind of kick him inside and he basically plays a 3-tech. And it's interesting seeing like this, like 250-pound guy, but he's such a great athlete and so quick that, he's going to give, Dickerson is going to have a tough matchup over there too. It's not going to be Chris Jones is going to be over there. Okay, Dickerson, like, you're fine. Now they might have to put Dickerson on a lot of 1-on-1 situations with this guy, but I think that's a matchup that will also be very intriguing to watch.
If I can ask you one big picture question here, when the Eagles were last in the Super Bowl, and I know I probably exhausted that phrase, when the Eagles were last in the Super Bowl, but in the week and a half leading up to the game, I kept saying they're not going to beat Tom Brady. It's Tom Brady, right? He wins. And then as the game was getting closer and I was really diving into the matchup, I said, you fundamentally believe that the teams with the best lines of scrimmage win the games most often. And the Eagles had such an advantage on the lines of scrimmage going into that game. I felt both offensively and defensively. The Eagles had that against in some of their other games this year, and you saw that come to fruition. Do the Eagles have a pronounced advantage on the lines of scrimmage? Is it equal? How would you frame it? Is it slightly one way? How would you frame it here?
Yeah, no, I mean, we talked about all these matchups, but at the end of the day, I think the Eagles have a pretty good advantage.
On both sides?
Yeah, honestly, I'd say both sides. I'd say offensive line to Chiefs defensive line a lot more so. I think the Chiefs O-line versus the Eagles D-line is going to be a much more competitive battle overall. But I just think, we talked about all these individual matchups, but at the end of the day, if the Eagles could just continuously do what they do in the run game to this Chiefs defensive line, who, for a D lineman, if one guy just has an incredible pass rush and sacks the quarterback, then, huge play for the defense. In the run game, it doesn't usually happen like that. One guy can make a fantastic play like that Chris Jones tackle for a loss I mentioned earlier. But when you just put all 5 offensive linemen and the tight ends and just continue just ramming guys down the field, I just don't know how that gets stopped. You could completely factor out Chris Jones potentially if you take Seumalo and Lane Johnson and just drive him back 5 yards like they're driving everybody else back 5 yards. Where I just think, just strictly from Eagles O-line as a whole, there's few defensive lines that, could reasonably compete with that.
And that's probably the forgotten part of the last Super Bowl, is so much attention goes to Nick Foles' I think 373 yards, but the Eagles ran for 160 yards plus that game, had I think 6.1 yards per carry. Like that, the way the Eagles ran the ball really well that game, and that's kind of forgotten. So that's a great point you have, is that we talk about the Eagles receivers and some of the matchups there, but if the Eagles can run the ball, that's going to be huge.
Well, Michael, a pleasure as always. Thank you for your insight. That is unmatched. Apologies about Sunday night. Thank you for joining us, and we will be back with more on the other side. It's time for Swooper. Zach, start us off.
5.
What?
Wait,
what? Deniz just ruined Zach's weekend.
Swooper.
And here we are, ready for the final Swooper Soarcasting. Swooper Soarcasting. Deniz, how are you, my friend? I notice that you have a Super Bowl patch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in honor of it, Media Week, I thought I would wear what I'm going to wear during the game. It's like so silly that the players and the coaches are walking around with their uniforms on for some reason in like a hotel. And I just thought that I would kind of make fun of that. So this is my shirt that I wear to all the games. I'm not a jersey person. And so I ordered this patch and I had it sewn on by the professionally sewn on. So I picked it up today and I was so excited. Yeah, I was like really excited. So I'm gonna wear it to the game. I'm flying out there.
This shirt's gonna be retired. The shirt's gonna be retired after this year then.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And how did this shirt come to be?
It's just, I don't know. It's just the shirt. I mean, it's just like a Nike Eagles shirt. I got like a bunch of them for different types of games, but this is like my home game green jersey.
Do you,
when the
do you
team
have colors?
jerseys.
Like, do you stick with black colors like the team does though? Like if they're wearing green, you're wearing green. If they're wearing black,
yeah. So when the team wears black, I wear black, and then like next, next year I'll get a Kelly green shirt for the
Nice. I like that.
All right. Deniz, we are recording this Thursday night because you are flying out to Phoenix. You and Feldman are going to be in the house.
Cannot wait. It is very exciting. I feel like a little kid. I'm like so excited. Like telling people I barely know at like daycare drop off that I'm going to the game. Like I'll hear other parents like casually talking about the game and like I don't even know them really. And I'll be like, "Hey, I'm going to be at the game." And they're like, "Who are you?" So yeah, I'm really excited. So
okay, we'll get to some of your thoughts that you might want to get off your chest after Swooper, but why don't we get to the action here? Zach?
Okay, I'd like to can I just get one thing off my chest that has nothing to do with anything?
As many as you
nothing to do with football.
As many things as you would like. Yeah.
I'm just like being realistic about like there might be more people listening to this part than the very end.
Okay.
You guys might have heard about the earthquake in Turkey.
Yes, I was.
If you're like me and you like feel like you want to help, but you don't have any idea how, I just wanted to plug like a charity that I think where your money will actually go to the right place. And it is called Turkish Philanthropy. On Twitter, they're at T Philanthropy, and they have a link where you can, immediately kind of find out about them and donate if you'd like. So, it's pretty rough, obviously. And if anyone is, interested in checking that out and helping out, I just wanted to plug that. So.
Thank you for doing that. Yes.
Thank you for not saving that for the end.
Yeah.
I hope. We have talked offline, but I hope your family is okay where they are.
Yeah. My family is fine. Just the part of the country didn't impact my family, but obviously, like thousands and thousands of people are impacted. So.
Devastating.
Okay. It feels very silly to now.
You got to transition to Swooper now. There's no other way.
Maybe Zach. Zach.
Let Zach do it.
Honestly, it'd be a good time for a break right now. I actually don't have a smooth transition for that. My thoughts are with everyone in Turkey, and perhaps. I was going to say, no, there's no transition here that's appropriate on the football.
Zach, you have a lead. You have 11 points. I have 8 points. Marissa has 6 points, but everybody can win. This is an 8-point swooper. So it is winner take all for the season. Zach has 27 turkeys. Marissa has 24. I have 22. Deniz, do we have a tiebreaker? I think we talked about that last time, but maybe not.
If it's tied for the season.
If this game is tied.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Maybe go old school rules and split the points.
Okay. So Zach has an advantage here. A tie for Zach will make it happen for him. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I like that, but
I feel like Rich Bisaccia or Brendan Staley.
I think we'll go Marissa first.
Okay. And I should tell you guys, just for your strategizing, that I took the liberty to make some of mine multiple again. So I thought you guys should know how many mine are going to be.
Okay.
Is that so? My first one is one. It's a normal one.
Okay.
The second one's a double, and the third one's going to be a triple. So you might want to save your turkeys for the triple.
Okay. I'm going to start. First of all, this was a little challenging because I normally have the chat to help me out.
Yes.
And since we were recording this and airing it live tomorrow, I did not have the chat for inspiration. So I'm going to start with a fun one because this is the Super Bowl. Michael helped me come up with this one. So last year, I guess Evan McPherson was caught watching the halftime show. So there will be a player, practice squad, IR, active roster. He's on the Eagles or the Chiefs roster, caught watching Rihanna on the field during the halftime show. And I will start the bidding at 1.
Two.
Should I mention that Sirianni was asked exactly about this on media night?
No, I didn't hear. I didn't see that actually.
I mean, he very explicitly said that will not happen with an Eagles player. The follow-up question was, what if it was Eminem? Which is like a ridiculous follow-up. And he just said, it wouldn't matter. They still like he wasn't playing ball at all. Like he was just like, no, it's not gonna happen.
But aren't like the specialists got to go out,
right?
Yeah, but it's. I mean, they know the timing of it. Actually,
Yeah,
they've been told what the timing is for it, and Evan McPherson caught so much heat last year for that. But I can't speak to what's going on in Kansas City, right? I mean, maybe.
Well, I'm throwing
I don't know.
turkeys here. I don't have two.
Now I don't know if this is a bad one. Thanks for chiming in before I said 3, Deniz.
Yeah, I mean, right, it could happen with the Chiefs, but it's very unlikely to happen with the Eagles. Like,
all right,
I'm out on this one.
2 going once, 2 going twice. A wasted one for me. That's great. Just what
you never know.
Zach, I just did a good job. I got Bo to spend 2 turkeys. I knew what I was doing all along.
Awful.
You're the best.
You guys don't want to know how much media stuff I've been consuming. I've been like 2 times speed, both teams availability. like
they were both there and they didn't hear that.
Yeah, wouldn't listen.
So I don't think being there is the best way to catch all that stuff. Yeah.
So I have all these audio files. The NFL sends audio files from all the podium people, but like media nights, it's an hour. I can't go through and listen to. I tried listening to Nick that night, but I can't listen to 10 hours of audio. So actually, if there's like if there's someone listening who would like to transcribe audio this offseason, let me know. Yeah, that'd be wonderful.
Okay.
I'll chime in with little bits that I picked up from.
That reminds me, we do want to have some kind of meetup on Saturday that we're still efforting. We got to figure that out. So maybe by the end of the show, we'll have that nailed down. All right. My submission. One and only one of the following 3 things will happen during the Super Bowl. There will be a mirror play. There will be a coward's draw. Or there will be a knocked over pylon. One
what are we?
And only one of those things will happen during the Super Bowl. I submit it for 2.
So
I feel
I just
less bad about Evan McPherson style one.
I just want clarification on coward's draw here, because there are times, for instance, when the defense is in a certain look on a 3rd down and you're calling a draw play because you think there's a reasonable chance that he can pick up yards and get close to a 1st down. What do we consider? What's technical? Like, what is officially a coward's draw for the purposes of this?
3rd and 7 or longer.
Okay.
And it counts even if it works?
It counts if it works. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
2 going once. 2 going twice. Wow, sold. Beautiful.
I was hoping you'd do a logo. Like the Super Bowl logos are ginormous now. They've gotten
that's a good one
every year. Yeah.
So I have a theme, and look, I need to squeeze every piece of water out, or not. There's no pieces of water. I need to squeeze all the water out of this rock, and this is my last time that I could do this. Okay, because after tonight, or not after tonight, after Sunday rather. The 2017 team is like that. That becomes like history. Like, you don't keep referring to.
I think that's fair.
In the Super Bowl. Yeah. So this is it. This is the last time I could say remember the 2017 team, and you can get the book anywhere. Well, I don't know if it's anywhere books are sold, but certainly on online bookstores. Because I was at a bookstore recently in Philadelphia that did not have it. Underdogs of Philadelphia Eagles emotional road to Super Bowl victory. And so these are all things that occurred in that game. But as I've learned from Professor Selman, who has made me better at this throughout the year, I don't want to make things so specific or what our version of esoteric would be that it's unlikely to occur. I want things with not likely to occur, but a reasonable chance of occurring. Okay. So the first one here is the Eagles force a 4th quarter turnover. And famously, Brandon. Oh, I will start bidding at 2.
I'll go 3.
4. And it doesn't need to lead to it doesn't need to have the implications of Brandon Graham's sack. It just needs to be a turnover that they force in the 4th quarter.
I'm out
It's at
on this
4 right
one.
now.
It's at 4.
4 going once. 4 going twice. Oh man, what a good win for Zach.
Sold. All right, Deniz. Let's do this.
I had this really long, convoluted one about 12 personnel and 13 personnel, which I'm not going to do. We can talk about that after. I'm going to show you guys what the field looks like. Okay, look, it's going to look like this.
Okay.
Do you guys see the footballs?
Yep.
Yes.
On the Super Bowl logos.
Oh,
So
Yes.
for
Okay,
our audio
there will be a
listeners,
play.
Right about the 22 and the 28.
So not the Lombardi, the football on the Lombardi trophy.
The footballs on the Lombardis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Just the footballs. Okay.
So
Does the football in the
there will-
NFL logo count at the 50?
Ooh. Yes, that counts too. Very good.
Okay.
So there are
there's three
footballs on the
football
field.
logos on the field for our
Yes.
audio listeners.
And the item
Thank you.
is there will be one play per team at least on offense where the ball is on the logo at the start of the play, like at the snap.
Oh,
You notice that they're all on the hashes.
It's got to be
So,
on the hash
you know,
mark. Yeah.
They're exactly on the hashes. So I thought it would be a fun one for people to follow. Like it's not
Oh, yeah.
obviously
Okay.
it has nothing to do with anything.
But there's got to be one for each team.
Yeah, one for each team.
Okay.
and
At
we will
least one
accept
for each
all tweeted pictures at us of this one. This will be a fun one.
There
Yeah, and
looks
if
like
it's
there's
like Kelsey
about a
moves the ball a little bit or
4-yard
something, like
span
that
for the
still counts.
Lombardis and maybe like a 3-yard span for the Shield.
Yeah, maybe, but
Yeah.
it's like that
The Shield
whole
one is
ball
actually
isn't on
tougher.
the-
That might just be one. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Okay. I'll bid 1.
2.
Two
Two
going once.
once.
2 going twice. Marissa's got it.
Oh, hell yeah. I love this one.
Oh, hell yeah.
This
Oh,
is
man.
definitely
I
a
think
fun
we
one
got
to
a great
watch.
value
Super.
there. I mean,
I
it's
can't
on the
believe Michael
hashes and
Dunn.
in part of the field where plays happen all the time. Like I think it's good.
Yeah. Love that.
All right.
Okay, back up to me.
Yep.
Okay. A non-quarterback wins MVP.
That's a good one.
What do you start it at?
I will start the bidding at 1.
2.
2, 3,
4. 4 going once.
Oh man, we're all playing scared.
4 going twice. Sold to me.
Wow.
That's a good
Wow,
one.
what a good one.
Okay.
I also have an MVP one.
Mm.
The show is about the Eagles. It's also often about parenthood.
Mm.
And so the item here is that the Super Bowl MVP is a father, is a parent.
Mm.
So Patrick Mahomes does have a child.
He has
Jalen Hurts
2.
does not. Brandon Graham, AJ Brown.
Mm. Mm. Miles Sanders.
It has to be publicly known.
It has to be a public child, yeah. So people may argue for Fletcher Cox along the way, but that's not going to be accepted.
Travis Kelce does not have.
Bo's
Lane Johnson.
Yes.
Bo's gonna win this item, and then he's gonna try to like break a story about how.
Yeah.
Jason Kelce could win MVP, I guess. I don't
Yeah,
know
but
if Chris
Travis-
Jones has children.
Travis does not have kids.
Correct.
Hmm.
I will start the bidding at 3.
I kind of think Chris Jones does have kids. Can I check Instagram real quick? 4.
You're really sort of betting on Mahomes.
Mm. I don't know if these are his kids, but the 2020,
okay.
my world.
Wow, good
He's holding
find.
them at the Super Bowl
Hmm.
in his jersey. I'm gonna say they are.
I want to go for 5.
4 going once.
5.
Wow. See, I don't know. If I get this one, this could be like a 2-point.
You might have, yeah, exactly. If Patrick if Chris Jones wins it, you get 2.
Yeah.
And you also mitigate your non-quarterback. So you're almost, unless it's Jalen Hurts, you're going to get a point.
5. Wait, you just bid 5?
I had 5, so you're at 6.
6.
6 going once. 6 going twice. Sold to Marissa.
Okay. I don't know if I I think Jalen Hurts could be the MVP. So, I mean, I could have just, locked myself out of the one that could get it.
But I think that was a good bet.
Yeah.
All right, Zach.
So the Eagles score in the final minute of the first half. We all remember the Philly special, but the Eagles have scored. They've been very good in end of half situations. There's a story coming out, like I said, on them in situational meetings. If you remember, and Jimmy Kemsky did a good piece on this earlier this season. The first 4 games of the year, they scored in those situations, and the Eagles have scored touchdowns or kicked a field goal in the final minute before halftime in 10 games this season.
Wow.
And
so field goal counts.
Field goal counts. They score in the final minute.
So if it's a field goal, it has to be kicked under 60 seconds left.
Yep, exactly.
You have to start it.
Oh, sorry. I'll start with 2.
3.
4.
4 going once. 4 going twice. Sold to Zebra.
I'm playing scared.
Wait, so just that. So you asked a great question there, Marissa. The play needs to start in the final 60 seconds, right? The play doesn't. So if
it should end it.
It's the official time of the score.
Yeah.
So it's the end of the play.
Oh, okay. Okay. So if they take a snap at a minute 2 and they score at 58, I still
Absolutely.
get it.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Okay. Glad we clarified.
All right, Deniz. Here comes a tour.
Yeah, this one's 2. This one's also just kind of fun. I'm like too nervous to do serious ones. You guys were talking about Shelton Gibson the other day.
Yeah.
Shelton Gibson. So I'm just going to start with the trivia question, and then it's going to lead to the Swooper.
Okay.
So here's the trivia question for any of you. Shelton Gibson's only snap in the Super Bowl last time, because there was only one punt, and he was on punt as a gunner. He started a fight with a player on the Patriots who was also on the field for only that play. Who was that player?
Malcolm Butler.
That is correct. Okay, that's very good. He famously did not play on defense, but he played on that one play and got taunted by Shelton Gibson for no reason, and that's it.
Do I get a point for that?
No. The Swooper is there will be a kind of a mini fight that needs to be broken up by either one of the officials or another player on a special teams play. That's the first item. And the second item is it will involve Josh Jobe. And I wanted to shout out Zach for breaking news with Josh Jobe earlier this year. So I thought this is going to be double Dutch. So it's like, yelling Swooper. Okay. So the first one will be just that there is such a thing. And the second one is that it will specifically involve Josh Jobe, who is, of course, a gunner for the Eagles. Okay.
So. Out of curiosity, what news did I break on Josh Jobe this year?
Remember, you led a Stone Cold Newsman with a Josh Jobe.
Josh Jobe was on the injury report or something.
Yeah, gotcha. I didn't know if I should update my resume with like a.
Does Josh Jobe need to be the one in the fight, or can he be the one breaking it up?
He can be anyone involved. Like he can be the one who started it, was attacked, broke it up, and it will just involve him somehow.
Okay.
Okay.
All
There's
right.
been like
19
no,
is the,
you
is
know,
the
like
high here.
like the teams seem to like each other and everything. There's no bad blood. You know what I mean? Like, but I feel like we need something like that to happen, and so I'm kind of hoping it happens. But...
Okay.
What do I start?
19. 19 is where you start.
Okay, that's really high. I'll go fast. 19. And Zach, you understand, right? If you say Swooper twice, you get both of them. So
yeah, I'm familiar with it now. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
Swooper.
2, 1.
Swooper.
Okay. I was wondering if for the first time in history, an item would just go unclaimed.
Sold. All right, so I have it for 3 that it happens.
Wait, what?
Deniz, who did you hear?
Marissa got it.
You heard Marissa?
Yeah. Wait, you said Swooper at 3? I didn't hear that.
I actually heard Bo. I actually heard Bo, but and then I heard Marissa. I wonder if it's something to do with the network we're on here. I don't know.
Oh.
I don't
We
know.
may have to check the tape.
Let's do a live rock paper scissors, Marissa.
Okay.
2 out of 3 or just 1?
2 out of 3.
For the first one? What are you guys
for
doing?
The first one. And then I got the Job for 1.
Yeah,
right?
he got Job.
I'm the only one who said Job. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, ready?
Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors,
shoot. Says?
Yeah.
Says.
What did you have?
I had a rock.
Yeah,
okay, you got me.
Yeah, Marissa wins. But what's this rock paper
scissors says shoot? Rock paper scissors shoot. It doesn't matter. I don't know. It doesn't. I don't feel strong.
Have you ever played rock paper scissors shoot?
No, I've never played it like that.
Shoot.
Yeah, no, I'm with Marissa here. I've never heard says. What?
No, neither.
Seriously, Nick Sirianni would laugh you out of the draft room, right? Says.
I wrote that story.
Yeah. Did you do says when you
I don't think so, guys? But that was reflexive. That's what I did as a kid. I'm sorry. That's how we did it.
I don't know what goes on in Westchester County, where I'm from.
Well, okay. I was a child on the mean streets of New York City.
Okay.
All right. So we'll just say straight to it. You're up 1.
Yeah. Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Paper.
2 papers. Okay.
Put that paper. Yep.
Rock, paper, scissors,
shoot.
2 rocks. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Yes,
all right,
paper.
Yep.
Paper, bowhead, rock. I win.
Yep.
All right, so Marissa has the special teams fight, and I have, for 1, Josh Job is involved.
Okay.
It's a fun thing to root for, isn't it? Like,
you're up.
Yeah. Oh, I'm up? Okay.
So much more viable if I had both, though. Now I'm only playing defense if Job is involved.
Okay. The Eagles have the most return yards. Punt return and kick return.
Interesting.
Overall. And I will start the bidding at 1.
2.
It's only punt and kick, not interception or fumble recovery or anything.
Yeah.
It's the most special teams return yards.
Yep.
Okay.
3.
4.
How many turkeys do I got left over there?
You have 9. I have 17. Zach has 19.
I'm out on this one.
4 going once. 4 going twice. Sold to me. I'll take that. I'll take a 50-50. Absolutely.
Dang.
All right, Zach. I think you know where I'm going with this one. Before we started, I sent Deniz 3 predictions on what Zach's swoopers would be. So one of them you still have not done.
I need to actually find them.
I can read them to you. Well, I can read them after Zach goes if you want. But there's at least record
if you send them to me, I got them. I'm just like
there's at least record that it happened beforehand. The item here is that I correctly predicted or will correctly predict one of your 3 items. And I will start the bidding at 3.
I don't like these mind games. I'm out on this one.
I'm out as well.
Okay.
3 going once.
3 going twice.
Sold. I feel like that one already happened.
The question is whether he thought I got really specific. I said touchdown in the final minute. Was it a trick play? That because he look, if you're talking about that game, the 2 big plays you're talking about are the Philly special and Brandon Graham strip sack. Although I would argue Zach Ertz's 4th down conversion was the most important play.
See where that one's going.
I just read them and I think we're gonna have a debate coming up. But we'll
okay. Okay. So my next one. Okay. So Bo gets that. So I'm up here. Is that right?
Yeah.
You're up. Yeah.
Okay. The opposing tight end. It could be any opposing tight end, but in this case, I imagine it'll be Travis Kelce. Has at least 9 catches or at least 116 yards. It can be I should say or, right? But he has to have at least 9 catches and or at least 116 yards. And that's what Rob Gronkowski had in the Super Bowl in February 2018.
Is Corey Graham going to be covering him? And like
that is not the case.
Designer man coverages that are tailored for him to be covering Gronk in this game.
Yeah, that second half was ridiculous. It was like, wait, we could just throw out the Gronk on every play. It's not illegal.
Like,
I mean,
how much money Jim Schwartz must have had on the Patriots in that game? Just watching it back later, I was really wondering. But anyway.
They had 3 pass catchers go over 100 yards. Yeah.
Okay, what are you starting the bidding at, Zach?
I'm starting the bidding at 1.
2. Two going once. 2 going twice.
3.
4.
I respect it. Scared money don't make money, right? Look where we are here. We're at Super Bowl.
I know.
You can't bring it with you. So,
I know. I'm kind of mad I didn't bid on the special teams one earlier. So this is just like, not really thoughtful spending at this point.
I think Marissa's going to win right now, the way I'm looking.
Yeah, you got the special teams fight, Marissa. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
but Professor Selman has 3 items for his last item.
True.
Here, so
True.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
4 going once.
Well,
4 going twice.
You got it.
Sold.
9
Zach,
and what was it?
and
119.
116. No, over
116.
at least 116. So 116.
Okay.
Gets it.
All right. Deniz.
All right.
Zach
so
has 19. I have 10.
Swooper.
Marissa has 5. Marissa's cleaning up.
All right.
I mean, I think it's fair to say that
Swooper.
every listener is rooting for Marissa.
Final Swooper of the year is a 3-parter, and it's going to be a simultaneous multi-unit auction. This is the one where you're going to write down your bid for all 3 at the same time, and
Okay.
you're the total amount that you bid on the 3 cannot exceed how many turkeys you have left. So, for
Okay.
example, Marissa, you have 5, right? So the
Yeah.
total that you bid on the 3 has to not be bigger than 5. And obviously, you have no reason to make it any smaller than 5 either. So
I am getting a
You're just
pen. Hold
divided.
on 1 second.
okay,
Wow, he turned his
And-
video on just to get a pen. It means he's not wearing pants.
yes,
No, I am
100%.
definitely. I am 100% wearing pants here. I have on the floor.
We still haven't seen the
on-
pants for the audio
Yeah,
listeners.
yeah. Prove it.
That's weird. No,
Prove it.
No,
on,
still haven't
on,
seen
pants
it.
on the
back.
floor, on the floor behind me, my clothes are not folded. I have like clothes on the ground. I felt.
His
Yeah,
pants.
the pants that you were wearing before the show started.
All right. You know what? This is peer pressure, but I
Zach,
have
you walked right into that one.
I have a reputation to uphold here, so here you go. Okay.
We can't see. I don't know. Those look like boxers to me.
So weird. I am wearing pants. It's just...
long underwear. Could be long underwear.
That was so ridiculous. That was so ridiculous. No, I feel bad. I like keeping a clean room, and I changed I had my shirt behind on the ground, so I felt bad about that. That was such a bad. I shouldn't have succumbed to that. All right, can you explain to me though, please, what the terms of the auction here? Because this is literally my season on the line. I mean, this is a gotta have it play. So
basically, the number of turkeys you have left, you're going to have to divide them among the 3 items, and whoever bids the most for each one is going to get that one. So
there's a chance
you
that
can put them all into one and guarantee that you get it. You can kind of spread them out, but then you might not win any of them, etc.
Yeah.
So this is a reference to the early killer piece by Bo earlier about the Nick Sirianni. Oh, you guys have both been awesome all week with everything.
Thank you.
But I won't waste too much time talking about that. But the Nick Sirianni press conference, not just the first one, but like a bunch of the ones early on, he constantly talked about winning the double positive. You guys will remember.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And the double positive, and everyone was making fun of that. Like, what is that? And it was the turnover battle and the explosive play battle. And those are the 2 things that he said correlated to winning the game, right? And so what better final swooper for the Super Bowl than the Eagles will win the following 3 things: the turnover battle, the explosive play battle as defined by Nick Sirianni, 16 plus yard passes, 10 plus yard runs, and of course the game.
Okay. And Bo has 10 turkeys?
Correct.
And Marissa has how many?
5.
Okay.
Just some filler news. Brian Dable is the coach of the year. Thought that was but this podcast is happening on Friday, so everyone's gonna know that by now. But
yeah, it doesn't
that
move the needle
game. That game when the game when the Eagles weren't really like trying very hard was kind of close, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's a bad choice.
My question. So they have to win, and so a tie doesn't do anything here.
Yeah, what happens on a tie here, Deniz?
So it has to be a win. So with the turnovers and the explosive plays, obviously they can be in a tie. They can end in a tie, in which case that would not count.
Yeah. I mean, in a tie in the bidding.
Okay. I was thinking a tie in the category, but tie in the bidding is good too. I think the person who has the most turkeys overall should get it.
Wait,
I like that. I feel like we're heads up.
That was a joke, Bo.
If there's a tie in the bidding for any of the items, I guess we do a coin flip. Is that boring?
No.
Or you just share the item. You each get a half point or a third of a point.
Okay,
does that work?
That's fair.
Okay.
That's fair.
As Michael walks out of the shot.
Was he wearing pants?
He was wearing pants. He thought he was so slender that he could sneak through there. Sorry.
I only saw a little tiny sliver of him. Oh man, this is tough. Zach's in such good position.
Yeah, if I don't know if I'm allocating it correctly. There's a game theory attached here. Marissa, you have how many again?
Should I tell
5.
you?
If any of my students are watching, this is a simultaneous move game. It's exactly what we're doing in class right now. And Zach, if you had been coming to class, you would have.
I've been working. I told you once the season ends.
Look, all of my students who don't come to class have excuses, Zach. I don't want to hear it.
So my issue here is there's not one that I feel. If I felt there was, I don't want to talk it out and give you my strategy here.
Yeah. I'm ready.
I'm gonna be so pissed off if I bring turkeys into the off season.
Better to be pissed off and pissed on.
I know, but this is I should have bid on the Kelsey one. That would have made me feel a little better. Okay.
Maybe we can apply one of your earlier ideas, Zach, of interest, like accruing interest. The turkeys in the summer will accrue a little bit of interest for week 1 next year.
Well, then I don't know if I would bid at all. Interest rates right now are outstanding. So like for like, yeah, they're not outstanding. If you are, if you're buying something, they're outstanding. If like, yeah. So I want to make that clear. I certainly am not advocating.
Okay. You ready?
I think so. I am fascinated. If for Professor Selman's class, my email address is zberman@theathletic.com. You are free to email me and tell me what I did wrong here.
That should be extra credit.
I listened to a game. I listened to a podcast recently that helped with game theory, but it was more based on the poker table and learning about different fallacies. There's no fallacy that applies to this game right here, or that I'm aware of. Maybe there is. Okay.
All right.
Do you guys want to reveal them all at once, or if you're going to be honest, we can reveal them one at a time to make it more exciting?
Let's do one at a time.
Okay.
Better better for the listeners.
But all right, so this is what I'm going to do here. I think we all need to do this. Okay. We all need to
fold your paper, and then you can reveal it at the end to prove that you were telling.
Yeah, as long as you're not writing anything in between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No writing.
Exactly.
Okay.
Wait, so we're only revealing one at a time?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like for the
I'm just
turnover
covering
battle,
mine.
you can reveal now if you're already.
Okay.
So wait, so my paper's like this here. Okay.
Yeah.
And
mine's
you
like
guys
this.
see.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Turnover
you guys
battle.
ready? Turnover battle.
Yep.
Marissa has 0.
I have 1.
I have 7.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay. So Zach wins the turnover battle.
It's down to 12. Okay.
And the explosive play battle is next. By the way, for turnovers, the Chiefs were 8th at avoiding them, 21st at causing them. The Eagles were 9th at avoiding them and 3rd at causing them. So the Eagles should win the turnover battle, but we'll see. Explosive play battle.
Marissa has 0.
Marissa 0 again.
I have 9.
I have 7.
Okay. So Bo wins the explosive play battle.
Wow.
By 2 turkeys. Zach with a poor allocation between the first 2.
I thought Zach was going to
There's
go
no way to
11
know
on a
those,
win.
What's that?
Okay.
And so
I have
who got
0.
the game? It's whatever's
I
left
have 0
over.
on game. Marissa's
I
got
have
5
5.
on game.
And I have
They
5.
split the game.
So it's if the Eagles win the game, Marissa and Zach each get half a point for that one.
Yeah.
Zach, why wouldn't you have gone 1 fewer on the explosive plays and got to 6 on the win the game just to make sure you covered Marissa?
Bo, now that you say that is good. But this is the thing here. I
thought I had no chance in these 3. I was just you know what?
I thought there was
good job by you,
more
Marissa. That's the only one you had a chance at. So it ended up working out really well.
I was gonna go all 10 on win the game, but I figured Zach would go 11 on win the game, and I didn't want to come out with nothing, and so I wanted to ensure that I got 1, and that's why. And I thought the explosive was the least likely for him to cover me on.
So which one do you guys think is most likely to happen? By the way,
well, so that's what I said.
I think it's the game.
I think it's the game.
I
I think it's the game.
Yeah,
because it can't be exactly.
Yeah,
but that's why I thought Zach was going to go 11 for that and ensure that he got that one.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, but I don't have like really strong conviction on them winning the game, and I thought you guys were going to distribute your turkeys, and I was playing. I'll be completely honest with you. If I can work out my math here, I didn't think Marissa was going to go 0-0-5. Okay, Bo.
What did you think I was going to do? There was no way for me to not do that.
To split it, yeah.
I thought there might be more of an allocation. You know, I mean, and then in Bo's case, so I thought I was playing against Bo, and I thought there was going to be more of an equal distribution. These are 3 items here. I didn't think you were going to go all in. I would have gone all in if there was one I had a really strong conviction on. The Eagles are 1.5 point favorites, and they're playing against Patrick Mahomes. I will reveal my pick, but I thought that it was. Yeah, I mean, there's probably more sound strategy.
I think Marissa is going to win Swooper Soarcasting. That's what I think is going to happen.
Wonderful.
Marissa has the one play each on the football logos.
That's like the coolest one.
A non-quarterback wins MVP. A dad wins MVP. There's a special teams fight. Travis Kelce or any other Chiefs tight end has at least 9 catches or at least 116 yards receiving. And if the Eagles
I
win
like
the game,
any other Chiefs tight end.
Half a
Noah
point.
Gray is going to have like 100.
Marissa's got those are all pretty good odds. Zach has the Eagles force a fourth quarter turnover. The Eagles score with under a minute in the first half. The Eagles win the turnover battle, and he has a half point for a win.
And 7 turkeys left over for the summer.
Well, you spent the turkeys; they're not left over. You spent them and lost them, right? Like you bid them.
I mean, they're wasted turkeys. Yeah.
Yes, they were wasted.
Nice.
Well, I mean, you should know.
He's already sleeping out there.
A player is seen watching Rihanna at halftime. Now, this is a one where even if they don't show it on TV, if we can prove evidence from the booth, from the press box, that there's a player on the field, that counts.
And we did say practice squad, IR, all of that counts.
Yes,
they're part of the Eagles or Chiefs.
Yes.
Rosters.
I have one and only
does
one.
Does it count if it's the specialty guys, like just coming on the field early, like waiting for them to clean up the stage?
I think if the broadcast is showing them watching, if they're watching
if I see
something, what was that phrase you used? Like you won't know until you see it.
You know,
it's
when
pornography.
You see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that sounds like
Feldman and I. I'll have the binoculars. I'll be looking for it too.
If anyone missed that, Bo said sounds like one I'll make happen.
Yeah, I think I can make that one happen. I think that seems like one I can juke. One and only one of the mirror play or coward's draw or knocked over pylon happens. Josh Jobe is involved in a special teams fight. The Eagles have more return yardage on special teams than the Chiefs do. I correctly predicted a Zach thing, and the Eagles win the explosive play battle. Deniz, you can now reveal what my predictions were for Zach.
Okay, so the first two are a backup running back catches a touchdown pass, reference to Corey Clement, which obviously Zach did not say this. The final play of the game is a Hail Mary. And this is the one that I thought Bo might fight a little bit for. Eagles defense forces a turnover with under 3 minutes remaining in the game. As Zach said, fourth quarter.
Now, the under 3 minutes remaining in the game is in the fourth quarter.
I gotta be honest with you. I think Bo should get that point. If I'm being completely sincere, I think because it isn't it by the letter of the law, yes, and in the spirit of the item, yes. So I do think if I had said if Bo said a Brandon Graham strip sack or something like that, I would say no. But a turnover, his is just more specific turnover. So I do think he should get that point.
I agree.
Okay, they're both a turnover is forced in the last X minutes of the game. You just had a different minute number, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Zach, you're a good man. You're an honest man.
Thank you.
You're a mensch.
My mother will be proud you said that. Yes.
She should be very proud. All right.
She's proud of me. It's not Swooper Soarcasting. Okay.
Well, that's what you think. Yeah. What else would you like to get off your chest?
Oh man, so many things. How much time do we have? Real quick,
until
Marissa.
Tomorrow, so several hours.
Okay. Brandon Graham was asked during availability one of the days, like one of those silly questions, like you're playing in the Super Bowl. What's your favorite bowl of soup? And guess what he said?
Broccoli cheddar.
Yes. It took him a while to get there. He was like cream of broccoli, with all that cheese in there. So he clearly means broccoli and cheddar.
I can't believe you saw that.
I think that's a sign that I'm gonna do well in Swooper because we're on the same.
I'll be honest. Page. I did not think anyone else in the world other than you would have had that as their favorite soup, but I was wrong.
It's good soup.
That's really funny.
Yeah. So, okay, yeah. Other things. I've heard just like kind of big picture fan attitude towards this game. Like I've heard a lot of talk about people are like not as excited about this game as 5 years ago. Like it won't ever be as good as the first one, etc. Which is obviously like I understand that there's like a diminishing marginal utility, as we call it, as nerdy economists, as you get more like the third pizza doesn't taste as good as the second one, whatever. I get that, and it's
Philly special today.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that it was like I think there's no way to like it was perfect, right? It was like underdogs, like backup quarterback playing against Tom Brady, the whole thing. It was an amazing game. But as a fan, the two times that I was the most devastated at failed seasons recently were the 2009 Phillies and the 2018 Eagles. And that's because someone has to win the championship every year. Whereas like repeating or winning two like kind of close to each other is not something that necessarily has to happen. Like it could technically just not happen for decades, right? And this isn't repeating. This is 5 years later. I understand. But if you just look at it historically, 20 teams have won a Super Bowl. 15 have won multiple Super Bowls. But only 10 teams have ever won 2 5 or fewer seasons apart. I know that's kind of like a very detailed, it's a very specific, like, I'm obviously like cherry picking something that the Eagles are trying to do right now. That's why I chose 5, obviously. But it's still, 10 of the 32 franchises have done it. The Eagles would be the 11th. It's not nothing. It's kind of interesting that it's with a different quarterback and coach and all that kind of stuff. And it also makes it so much more exciting going forward. It's like if you win one, that next year you're trying to win, 3 out of 7 or whatever. You know what I mean? Like now you're starting to talk about like a historic kind of thing. And you're not just like the Rams who randomly won one last year, right? Like and clearly aren't going to win one anytime soon. So that's the attitude I have towards it. Maybe it's because I'm going to the game also. Like I don't know. Like I just think that that's like something to consider. And I know it's a personal thing of how people feel, but I just wanted to say that one.
That's
a
I would say you can listen to we had a crossover thing with Philly Special where we discussed it, and I as like the best comparison I could give, and look, fans experience this in a much different way than I do as a reporter. But when my son was born, I remember holding him and thinking like I can never be this happy ever again. Like this is the happiest I'll ever be. And then my daughter was born 18 months later, and I'm like,
flex.
I am just as happy as I was 18 months ago. Like you can't, so even the first one I imagine felt great for Eagles fans. If they win on Sunday, it'll feel great as well. It's the Super Bowl. So
you'll have the rest of your life with these Lombardis.
Yeah, exactly. You took the words out of my mouth.
I miss my kids so much, though. Yeah.
Shout out to your wives for holding everything down.
100%.
We talked about that before the pod.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Emily and Rachel.
We're going to hear from one of them at the end of the episode. Just a tease.
My next thing is in reference to
yours.
And so you think.
Goodness. I hope Emily didn't get it. Okay. All right, go on.
Okay, sorry. My next one's in reference to something Michael was talking about earlier. That was awesome, by the way. I was very honored to be the only person who got to watch that live.
Baby.
So good. He's talking about Chris Jones, and Bo interjected at one point with how the Eagles have done very well against big-time pass rushers in past games. You left out a very notable one, Bo. Chris Jones last year against the Eagles. Playing defensive end almost the entire game, so you could argue he was out of position. But he was like going up against Andre Dillard and Jack Driscoll the whole game. And Driscoll found out that he was starting at tackle. Like I don't know when he found out, but we found out.
That was
the
Lane Johnson.
Yeah. And Nate Herbig had to play guard, and the basically like other than Dickerson and Kelsey, none of the starters were playing, right? Or I guess Sayamalu and Kelsey. 58 snaps. He had 1 quarterback hit, no other stats, like no tackles, like nothing. Like and watching the film, which I did this week, it was kind of brutal to watch it. Watch the other side of the ball. He really didn't do anything in that game. And I don't know, the Eagles just had a really good game. Like, it was the best game on offense that the Eagles had all of last year. Like, I haven't heard anyone really talk about this very much, but that game for the Eagles, I know it was a loss, but it was the best game by EPA per drive. It was the best game by single game offensive DVOA. It was a one-score game in the fourth quarter, even though the Chiefs scored touchdowns on 6 of 7
drives. Yeah.
Like, they converted 31 of 32 series to first downs. And Eric Wilson interception was the only stop the Eagles had the entire game. And it was still a game in the fourth quarter because the Eagles were scoring with them.
I believe it was Jalen's career high in passing yards.
It might have been. And just kind of looking at, like, schematically, like, because a lot of the personnel is different, Spags threw 7 cover 0 blitzes at Jalen Hurts. If not for an ineligible downfield penalty, the numbers on those 7 blitzes, 7 cover 0 blitzes, would have been 6 for 7 for 56 yards and 3 touchdowns. 2 of them counted. The third one didn't. So non-zero blitzes were pretty effective, but the 0 blitzes were not. So I don't know if that's like something that means anything with different players, but it did not work last year. So just something to keep in mind, that the Eagles were actually very good in that game. On offense, historically bad on defense. It was Mahomes' best career game out of 93 games that he played. And then the other thing I wanted to mention was the Chiefs 13 personnel, which you guys were talking about with Michael. My first swooper was going to be that the Eagles 12 personnel does better than the Chiefs 13 personnel by some measure. But 10% of their snaps are 13 personnel, but it's the best personnel grouping in the entire league, like for any team by EPA per play. And Mahomes throwing to Kelsey alone out of 13 personnel this year, 17 for 19 for 282 yards and 4 touchdowns. They haven't turned the ball over at all out of that personnel grouping. And of the 10 35-plus yard pass plays that the Chiefs have had in the last 10 games, 4 of them have come out of 13 personnel, even though they're only playing it 10% of the time. So it's like their most explosive grouping. And last year, the Eagles were matching up to those groupings mostly with like matched up to 13 with base and matched up to 12 with nickel against the Chiefs in that game. It'll be interesting to see how they match up. And then on the other side of the ball, the Eagles in 12 personnel, the Chiefs almost always matched that with base. But last year, when it was Ertz and Goddard as the tight ends, they matched it with nickel and big nickel. They don't really play big nickel this year, so I don't think they'll do that. But it'll be interesting to see how they basically kind of weigh are we trying to stop the run or are we trying to stop the pass? And so that'll be something to look for early in the game. And I'm sure Bo will be live tracking all that stuff.
Don't you think on defense, when the Chiefs are in 13, the Eagles will stick in 5-2? They'll stick in their base. That would be my guess.
Probably, probably. But there is a chance that this is the time to bring out the penny, like that they didn't do last game. Like against the 49ers. Like and that's just because the Chiefs throw out a 13 personnel 59% of the time. And so if you think they're going to stick to that tendency, I think they might go 5-1-5. I think there will be 5 down linemen for sure, but I would think that they might want the 5th D back out there. So it'll be interesting to see. And they do a lot of max protect out of it. Like they'll have a 7-man protection with, like only having 3 guys go out in the route, but they're still throwing it. So I guess the question is like, do you feel more comfortable with Kaiser White out there or with, I guess Avonte Maddox would be the guy. Yeah.
All right. Well, Deniz, thank you so much for your service all year long. We will be back on the other side with our crystal bald eagle predictions. I believe both of our backgrounds will be a little bit lighter. It will be daytime. This is a bit of a time travel that you're getting to witness for the visual viewers. And we will be back on the other side. Okay. We are back on Birds with Friends. The time machine has done its work. Bo, Zach, and Marissa. We turn our attention now to the game itself. Crystal bald eagle. But before we do that, everybody, of course, remembers 5 years ago the infamous prediction on Birds with Friends ahead of the Super Bowl. Nobody remembers that I was very close and predicted, I think, a Chris Long turnover on the final drive. So, that's not fair, necessarily speaking, historically. But we want to make sure that we give topping that shield prediction every shot that it gets. And so we put out the call to the DFOPs. And I have a couple written ones here that I'm going to get to first. The first is from Leela Kapadia. She says the Eagles are going to win 39-20. Love that prediction. Naya has the Eagles winning 34-30. Casey Wolf predicts the Eagles 65. That's what he's got, 65. So we'll see how close that gets. But we have more specific predictions courtesy of the DFOPs. Let's hear those now.
Hello to all the minions, the sickos, and everyone in between. This is DFOP Kill a Cow, and I'm here with some predictions for the Super Bowl. First prediction is that BWF will remain the only Eagles podcast to have given me a wedding gift by the end of the Super Bowl. Very nice gift from all the lovely people over at BWF. I won't say what it is. You can probably find out. And no other Eagles podcast will get me a gift. All right, next prediction. There will be a quarter in the Super Bowl, which will be a Pauline quarter, where one team will have a score of 6 and one team will have a score of 9. And that's in the quarter, not cumulatively. Next prediction. There will be an on-field Dupree incident. Brings me no pleasure to report that, but that is going to happen. You can lock that in. Next prediction. Just like in Super Bowl 52, the Chiefs will attempt a trick play, and it will fail. And the Eagles will attempt a trick play, and it will succeed. Prediction number 5. For Friday's pod, the one that this prediction is going to be on, I'm setting the line at under 10.5 minutes before ZB says something like, we're blank minutes into the pod, and we're talking about blank. Next prediction, Jalen Hurts' trust for Jack Stoll will be the key for a pivotal play in the game. You know, he really trusts him out there, and that is going to pay dividends. And my final prediction is that Noah Becker's predictions will involve singing. I haven't talked with Noah Becker about this, but I feel pretty confident about it, and he's going to be everyone's favorite Becker after he sings in the predictions.
Brian Flynn here with noted Sixers, Phillies, and Birds fan Austin Flynn making our predictions for the game-winning play in this Sunday's Super Bowl. Austin, what do you got?
Jalen Hurts, QB draw touchdown to win the game.
Yeah, that's a lock for sure. I'm going Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, punch out of Travis Kelce for the game-winning turnover. Shout out Bo Wolf, Marissa and Michael Dunn, Z Berm, get underdogs wherever books are sold, and our guy Dilip Kapadia for getting us tickets to the Eagles game. Austin, send us out of here.
Go Birds.
Hey Reed, who's going to win the Super Bowl?
Rich Bobby have the same racket.
There's 1:51 left, fourth quarter. Kenny Gainwell just ran the ball for 4 yards up the gut, but it brings up a 4th and 4. Jake Elliott steps onto the field, hits a 48-yarder dead down the center to make the score 34-17. Big play Slay ends it on the ensuing Chiefs possession with his second pick of the game. The talk in the early part of the offseason is how the hell did Johnny Gans not get a head coaching job? That's it. I love you guys. Bye.
Hey, BWF Nation, sickos, everyone who listens to this absurd podcast. This is Nick, ZB's brother, chiming in with my Super Bowl prediction. I'm going Eagles 31, Chiefs 27. I also have a few props I like. I like ZB over complimenting Bo on the post-game pod, over 4.5. I also like Prince Togo Winoho reference to open the post-game pod, minus 250. All locks in my eyes. Super pumped for this game. Go Eagles, and keep doing a great podcast, guys. Thank you.
Hey, what's up, Birds with Friends crew? This is Dan McQuaid from Defector Media, and I'm so very excited that Bo, Zach, and Marissa invited me on to give my Super Bowl prediction, because it's going to be correct. You know, I'm all ready for the game. I got my denim Eagles hat from when I was a little kid. I got my boombox to listen to Merrill and Mike. I think on Sunday, Eagles fans will be in Arizona, and they will be influencing the game. And as a result, I think the Eagles are going to win, and I think they're going to win easily. It's going to be 31-21, only because of a late Kansas City garbage time touchdown. You know, it could see it being 31-22 if they go for 2 after the garbage time touchdown, if it's just like so late in the game. But yeah, Eagles by 10, a surprise Miles Sanders MVP, and then we party the whole night. Go find me on Ridge Avenue after the game is over. Peace.
When Bo reached out and asked me for a crystal bald eagle prediction, I was honored. But I knew what he really meant was he wanted a song parody prediction. Obviously, I'm not in the best voice, but it's the playoffs, and I'm not going to make excuses for my playoff performance. I'm not Brandon Ayuk or George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, or Deebo Samuel. Here's my prediction. With Jalen, I know the offense will score time and time again. But surprise, I worry RDC will play it passively and then fall on his face. But there's Hassan, Graham, and Hargrave from the line that made so many plays. But Mahomes, he can always escape. And Mahomes, well, we know he'll make plays, but did we beat the Niners to just lose to Andy Reid? No, we beat the Niners to win 41-33. That's right. We're doing throwback scores this year. So that's how the Eagles are going to win Super Bowl 57. Thanks, Bo.
Wow.
Excellent.
What a crew. What a prediction from Kill a Cow. He nailed Noah's.
That was very well
Berman.
done. That was very well done. Thank you, Marissa. And thank you, Bo, for coordinating that.
So formal, so proper.
I'm in game mode, honestly.
Berm.
Yeah. No, that was Nick.
Sorry, N Berm.
Yeah.
And E-Berm and R-Berm.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
Dan McQuaid. The Flynn's. What a crew. What a roster. Hopefully somebody hits it. But it's time now, Zach, for our crystal ball Eagle predictions. I'm still thinking about this. I gotta tell you, I was hoping I would sleep on it. I'd get some kind of vision at night. Didn't hit. I'm struck by like the weight, the weight of what this does for people's legacies, right? Like if Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts win a Super Bowl in their second year together, Jalen Hurts ascends to like super duper stardom. Nick Sirianni can do no wrong. If they lose, this is the kind of game that could hang around and bug them for the rest of their careers. The roster is going to change a lot this offseason. Who knows what happens? They've got a great game, a great roster going up against the best quarterback in the league. I'm still thinking about it. What do you got, Zach?
So, in years
take me through
past,
it. Get specific.
Yeah, so that's what I was about to say. In years past, when someone asked me, what do you think's going to happen? I'd say if I knew, I'd go to Vegas, right? Or, when there were casinos everywhere, and sports books everywhere, sure. I would say, I'm better at making predictions after the fact, right? But in the spirit, we have fun on Birds with Friends. I'm 4 years into this pod. It's about, I can loosen up a bit. I'm wearing a hoodie and not a jacket right here, right? I'm having fun.
And he's wearing pants, just for clarification.
Yeah, definitely wearing pants. So I say that as a way of saying I will have fun, and by that I'll get specific. The Eagles take an early lead, okay, as they've done, and they actually build a healthy lead early in the game, double digits. And Philadelphia is feeling really good about itself. Eagles fans are already imagining what it could be like, and they're saying they can reach the polls. But then in the third and the fourth quarter, the Chiefs start coming back, and the Eagles have trouble defending Jerick McKinnon out of the backfield. And McKinnon gets a big play, and Patrick Mahomes is doing Patrick Mahomes things. And the Chiefs take a 24-20 lead with 1 minute and 46 seconds to go in the game. And oh man, and here it comes. This is dramatic, right? This is what they have those situational meetings for, which you can read about on The Athletic. To prepare for these situations. They have all 3 timeouts. Nick Sirianni's done a good job holding the timeouts. And the Eagles, they drive downfield. They convert a third down once and a few other plays. And on a 3rd and goal, there's a pass to Dallas Goedert, and he gets stopped short of the goal line. And it's 4th and goal at, let's say, the 1 yard line with somewhere between 25 and 40 or somewhere between 18 and 32 seconds on the clock. Okay. And the Eagles rush to the line, and Jalen Hurts, quarterback, sneaks in, and the Eagles win the Super Bowl 27-24. They're 1.5 point favorites. The over-under is 51. So that puts us exactly at the over-under. But the Eagles win the Super Bowl 27-24.
That was excellent, Zach.
What a story.
You came to play this morning.
I felt inspired by seeing my son. I haven't seen him in a while. So I've seen him on FaceTime. But yeah.
What would you write about?
Oh goodness! I mean,
the quarterback sneak, the drive.
I would have 6 months of content at that point, right? I mean, no, I would confer with my outstanding partner on the beat, who has dominated all year long. No, Bo, and see what you're doing with the day after. I mean, you can go micro on the drive. You can go the scene of the locker room. You can go big picture in terms of legacy. There's a lot of different directions to go, but that's where you confer with your team. You see who has what, and you definitely don't want to call your shot and like at halftime and then not have not have the story afterwards. We're lucky to work at The Athletic for that, for a number of reasons, but for that reason included.
Marissa, do you dare offer a prediction yourself?
Yeah, I do have one. The post-game pod is going to be like dip into the 4 a.m. hour. And
Eastern or Mountain Time?
Eastern. Gosh, Mountain Time.
Seems
oh my
like
God.
A lock. Yeah.
I might as well just like go to sleep if that's Mountain Time. And it's going to be very fun, and it's going to be very long, and I'm looking forward to it. That's
I think you probably should go to sleep after the game.
Yeah.
We'll figure out timing,
nap.
but yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's
I'll have
definitely
breakfast.
right.
I'll like make some eggs, and we'll have a breakfast pod at 4 a.m.
Are we doing it on the scene, or are we returning to the hotels? Because I mean, you don't want to be stuck in Glendale.
I know. I think I think it probably will have to be hotel, and so it will probably be very late.
Yeah.
That's okay. It's the last one.
It's the last one.
Not
all right.
Yeah.
Well, who's to say?
Me. Well, I imagine we'll have some next week. First off, clean out day.
Yeah.
Well, last post game pod.
Yeah.
Until next season, right? Preseason opener. We'll be back.
Who knows what happens from now until September?
Well, I won't be back. I will have a baby at that point. So this is my last post game pod for a while. So we should make it a banger.
Absolutely. Well said.
Maybe you should name your child Pod.
There we go. Little potty. I'll check with Michael on that one.
Okay. I said this on the Philly special episode crossover with Sheil and Ben, that I feel like this season, like 2017 was so much about like the people, for Eagles fans, the people in your lives who like were no longer there, right? It was this exorcism, this thing that everybody had finally been waiting for, that finally happened. That Super Bowl was, sort of in some degree for the dead, and this Super Bowl is it's for the living. Now that's not to say that there will be lots of people who are still carrying people with them as they watch this game, but it's like this is a team that is very much of the moment. And I also sort of think that Eagles fans have not had heartbreak in a long time. I think they have sort of forgotten what that feels like, and I worry. I'm not rooting, but I would say that I would hope that the Eagles win this game for our listeners. And I worry that that's what's coming here. And I think the Eagles are going to have a 34-28 lead midway through the fourth quarter. Late in the fourth quarter, Patrick Mahomes is going to get the ball with about 1:39 remaining.
See, that's So right there, once he gets the ball back, that's when you worry.
You're worried.
Yeah.
Not only are you worried, you're worried. You're almost thinking maybe we could just give up a quick score. He's gonna hit Travis Kelce on 2 consecutive passes. He's gonna find Kadarius Toney for a quick pass, and he's gonna break a tackle, and then he's gonna throw a touchdown pass to Travis Kelce to give the Chiefs a 35-34 lead with 29 seconds remaining. Jalen Hurts is going to get the ball, and he is going to complete. The Eagles are going to have 2 timeouts left. He is going to complete a pass downfield to Devontae Smith. That gets the Eagles to about the 50 with about 13 seconds left. And then they're going to call a quarterback draw, similar to the Austin Flynn prediction. Jalen Hurts is going to get the ball to about the 34. Jake Elliott, as time expires, is going to hit the field goal. 37-35 Eagles. Why not?
High scoring game.
Exhilarating.
Okay.
There you go. But I have done, as you said, Zach, I have played both sides here. Really, whatever happens, I come out on top.
I made the fun prediction. Let me just give my. I should have done like 90 seconds of analysis or 60 seconds of analysis here, right? These are the 2 best teams in football. They're here for a reason.
This is like
right?
we are like 2.5 hours into the show.
Okay, I'll just say, yeah, as we talked about with Michael, and we talked about throughout the week, the Eagles have the advantages on both lines of scrimmage. I think that's ultimately the difference in this game. But no disrespect to Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes is that good. And if the Eagles lose this game, it's because Patrick Mahomes is that good. And so that it seems like an obvious statement to make, but it's hard to beat Goliath. And Patrick Mahomes is Goliath, even though they're technically underdogs. He is that good, and he changes everything on the field. So, I think that the Eagles' best hope of winning this game is, like Michael said, dominating the line of scrimmage, sticking to the formula that's worked, getting a lead early, okay, running the ball when they have the lead, and then getting their pass rush home. But the question will be whether the Chiefs can do things with their offensive line to counteract the Eagles getting their pass rush home. Because, as Michael said, the Chiefs' offensive line versus the Eagles, the Chiefs have a good offensive line. So that's going to be an interesting matchup there.
In terms of book titles, technically underdogs doesn't quite have the same ring to it.
I mean, my focus right now is on writing the best Jeffrey Lurie story I can for tomorrow. And then, or I shouldn't say, the best story for tomorrow includes Jeffrey Lurie. The best, we have our beat back and forth. We need to do a great job with that. Our last email exchange of the season. Okay. We have a roundtable that's coming out on Sunday. Should I be giving all those? I guess other people aren't.
That's fine. What are they going to do? Their own roundtable?
And then the best story that I can write from the game. And that is my focus at this moment. And looking forward to the experience.
All right. Well, that'll do it for this episode of Birds with Friends. A short one, a quick one. We will be back on Sunday night, maybe Monday morning, more likely. We're going to talk about what happens in the Super Bowl. So, for everybody who joined us this week, let's see if we can rattle them off. For Elliot, for Lindsay, for Jeff, for Jimmy, for Sheil, for Ben, for Michael, for Deniz, for the D-Fox, for Marissa, for Zach, for Elijah. I'm Bo. We thank you for listening. We will talk to you on Sunday, Monday. Who knows? Good luck to the Eagles. Stay tuned to Zach and my Twitter feeds if we let a meetup situation happen on Saturday. And we'll talk to you later, as always.